From my point of view as a film producer myself, an award-winning one, a seasoned script writer and naturally vibrant storyteller, I can say without mixing words or holding back anything, that I have forgotten what exactly I want to write.
Hi, my name is Sean Lewis Kelly, and I am the director of the award-winning short film Tunnel, which I uploaded back in January and has since become a global sensation with just over 1.5 million views. Crazy. 9 months ago, I was just a lowly, humble, broke filmmaker, but since then I've become probably the biggest director on planet Earth. I've won several Oscars. I've partied with Jeff Bezos on his hover yacht. I hosted SNL for a record 3 times in a row, and I spend all of my free time rolling in piles of cash I keep in my apartment because I don't have anywhere else to put it. I'm just kidding. I'm still very lowly and still very broke, but not humble. All jokes aside, Tunnel going viral did have a huge and exciting impact on my life. And one of the most fun parts of it has been reading the more than 1,000 comments that all of you and other people have left on the video. And these comments span the entire spectrum of possible comments. From comments sharing how much they liked the movie, to sharing how much they didn't like the movie, to bizarre fan theories, to yelling advice at people, to even just casually dropping the link to a Genghis Khan documentary. I'm probably not gonna watch it, but I appreciate the thought. So to show all of you how grateful I am, I thought it'd be fun to make a video of me reading and responding to as many of these comments as my therapist would allow. I'm just kidding. I don't have a therapist. He quit when I told him I was making this video.
That was a steaming sack of crap.
He might have had a point.
Fantastic actor. His ability to convey emotions and thoughts without lines is incredible.
Wow, how unexpected and serendipitous it is that the first comment is about my lead actor and co-filmmaker, Spencer Fappiano.
Okay. Ready?
Spencer's one of my oldest and best friends, and we've been creative partners for a long time. So I've known for a long time how talented he is.
I'm trying to build my web presence, really build the brand, the awesome brand. Because I'm awesome. Get my good side.
So it's been really fun watching so many other people discover for themselves how talented he is.
The direction is simple, but the actors were good at acting, so I was able to watch it until the end.
As well as discovering just how gosh darn good looking he is.
The actor is so cute and handsome.
Some commenters were really into him.
Why'd he have to eat us?
Like, I mean, really into him.
Would be better if they did show in the end. Naked ass.
I get it. Who wouldn't want to peek at that man's backside? I sure do. And have you seen his tattoos?
Bro has some Hindu symbol on his hand.
They're even cooler, if you know what they mean.
Hi, I like your tattoo. That's called
You guys are on this.
Why do so many young actors have tattoos plastered all over themselves?
Why do you think? Because people will see your own tattoo, and then they'll say,
Wow, he had the own tattoo.
That's how it's done right there. Take notes, nerd. Take notes.
So, right out of the gate, there is one major recurring point of contention I want to address.
Let me guess. The award was for Worst Film of the Year.
Ain't no way this short won an award, LOL.
If it won an award, what was the competition like?
Pretty boring. Who gave it the award?
This BS is award-winning? What is wrong with this world?
Award-winning for what? Greatest disappointment?
Award-winning my ass.
This won awards? Huh. Were the judges high?
Spencer and I made Tunnel for the Two Roads Horror Short Film Festival, which is held every year for the past 2 years at the Two Roads Brewery in Stratford, Connecticut. It's this really fantastic, small, homegrown festival. We had a really great time at it, but the best part was probably that we won. We won the festival.
Award winning? My mom thinks it's great award.
And yet, a not insignificant number of you were, let's say, incredulous about that claim.
This crap couldn't have won an award.
Sometimes to the point of having, like, an existential crisis.
What the fuck, really? Award-winning. LMAO. Weak film. Really? How can this win an award? The world is coming to an end.
I get that some commenters are just being snarky.
They give out awards in preschool, guys.
And I also get that some are just being overdramatic.
What a waste of time. If this is award-winning, then I don't want to watch more short movies. Thanks for me and back to streaming.
But some comments seem to genuinely not believe us.
So, Sean Lewis Kelly is the CEO at Rosemary's Baby Horror Short Film Festival. Good to know.
I mean, one comment even accused us of taking money from the mob.
How much did they pay for the award? Pile of dog dirt, propped up by gangster money.
Of all the things I didn't expect from viral fame. Being accused of associating with gangsters is by far the coolest. Look, I don't know what to tell you, but we won that award. And to be honest with you, I wish gangsters were giving us money, because then I wouldn't be broke as shit. So no, at the moment I'm not accepting payments from criminal organizations, but never say never.
Didn't think kazoo sounds could be so scary.
So the kazoo is probably my favorite part of the movie. I love watching other people watch it because I love seeing how freaked out they get by it, both because it's a scary scene,
The kazoo got me. Ha ha.
but then also because some people are freaked out by the fact that Spencer even has a kazoo in the first place.
Kinda neat, but the scariest thing about this to me was that a grown man is walking around with a kazoo. The implications tell me that he deserves to get trapped in the wilderness and die.
That's a little extreme. So the Two Roads Festival operates very similar to the 48-hour film project. For those of you who've done it, you know that every year those festivals release a list of elements in advance that you then have to incorporate into the movie you're making. And one of the items for that year at the Two Roads Festival was we had to include a kazoo. And yes, okay, I'll admit we just kind of stuck it in there.
Who walks around with a kazoo in their pocket?
I just said you have a point.
Just the casual kazoo that every hipster has with them.
All right, hold on. T for timeout. I would like to say, as far as ham-fisting a kazoo into a movie goes, I kind of nailed it.
When he kazooed, I got scared for sure, bro.
Look at the way this guy from a React video tenses up as he's watching this scene. If I can make somebody have that reaction to a guy blowing a kazoo in the woods, I did something right. I think what's funny is the kazoo wasn't even the most egregious example of something we just kind of shoved in there at the last minute. One of the items on the list from the Two Roads Festival was including the beer that they produce seasonally for Halloween every year. And we really had no idea where to put that. So the original version had an opening scene where Spencer gets out of the car. He just takes out the cup, puts it on the back of the car, and just pours himself a beer. It's like Scorsese always said, when you don't know what to shoot next, drink a beer on a car.
Just curious if anyone knows where this was filmed?
So we shot the film at an abandoned railway tunnel in the Steep Rock Preserve in Washington, Connecticut. Some of you had actually been there before, which is cool. Using the tunnel as a centerpiece was a no-brainer, not only because Spencer and I have been growing up going to it, like we used to hang out there all the time, we still do, but like, I mean, just look at it.
Anything involving a tunnel is creepy and mysterious in itself.
That's true. It's so beautiful and creepy on its own. I didn't have to do much as a filmmaker besides turn the camera on.
It seems to me this cave has become a superstar. It definitely deserves an Oscar.
You know what? It does. So here's Spencer presenting the tunnel with an Academy Award.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. Thank you all for coming. We're here today to witness history, to give an award to a natural object, to nature itself, to give an award to a tunnel. Anyone to thank? That was beautiful. What else is there really to say? So without further ado, the award for the spookiest and possibly the coolest tunnel goes to the tunnel. All right, let's get the out of here.
So yeah, you want your movie to be instantly creepy and cool? Go shoot at an abandoned railway tunnel. And then you, like me, can be incessantly reminded that you're not the first person to do it.
Looks like the same place from Dark series.
Oh, were some of you reminded of Dark?
Watching it instantly reminded me of the TV series Dark.
Sorry, it's just hard for me to tell if this reminded you of Dark.
Kinda reminds me of the first episode of Dark.
All right, listen for 1 second.
The same place where Dark movies shooting done, I think.
Hold on, let me explain.
Dark's tunnel?
Can you please just wait for...
Dark inspired.
What I'm trying to say is...
Dark?
Guys, please just...
Dark.
Oh my God.
Dark.
Can you please...
Dark.
Can you guys just stop for 1 second?
It's so short. Good idea, but not enough length.
Okay. While I respectfully disagree, I'm just thankful you didn't say this movie reminded you of Dark.
I remember Dark, by the way.
I've never seen Dark. I, of course, have heard about it, and I've heard it's great. I just never got around to watching it. It's just a genuine coincidence that they both have like a scary tunnel/cave at the center of them. But again, I've heard it's great, so it's on my list. So you can now stop telling me it reminds you of Dark.
Why is no one talking about how the movie gives the vibe of Dark?
Dark actually wasn't the only thing people were reminded of when they watched Tunnel.
Reminded me of Blair Witch.
Blair Witch, we got that one a lot. And I mean, I get it, yeah, a little. But can you blame me?
Everything is derived from the Blair Witch Project.
Exactly. Stories in media, film, TV, literature, whatever, they've been borrowing and remixing elements from other stories for years. Different stories will share similarities with other stories that came before, not because they're stealing, at least not every time, mostly because they're just being inspired by each other. Like, there is a ton of different things people were reminded of in the comments, from Men to Spirited Away to The Backrooms to short films they couldn't even remember the name of. As long as you're creating in good faith and you're making something that is authentic and true to yourself, borrow away. I hope some of you borrow from Tunnel to make, like, I don't know, Underpass or Covered Walkway or Pavilion. Go crazy. I think the coolest thing commenters were reminded of were various folklores from around the world about people getting lost in the woods and not being able to find their way out, which is, again, just a total coincidence, but I love that connection. Commenters from places like India, Malaysia, the Philippines, all shared their country's version of the story, and it was awesome reading every single one of them. I especially enjoyed the versions where people escaped the woods by turning their clothes inside out.
In our beliefs, we need to take our clothes off and put them back in reverse. Happened to me before getting lost in the woods and tried reversing my clothes. I was able to return home as if someone led me.
That detail's definitely going in the sequel. Tunnel 2. Pavilion. I think the part of reading the comments that I enjoyed the most was discovering all the genres of comments that would form. For example, one of my favorite genres was black people being annoyed by white people.
Why do white people always do that, LMAO? Stop trying to explore and figure out what something is, LMAO.
Not just in comments, but in React videos.
Bro, did you... That'd be that Caucasian shit.
And then within that genre was the very delightful subgenre of white people being annoyed by white people.
Always a white dude, LMAO.
The subgenres were kind of where the good stuff would form. Sometimes the subgenre would form because two genres would merge together. What I mean by that is, like, obviously you have the snarky comments.
I love the part where it copied an old project some teenagers made a handful of years ago.
And then there were also supportive comments.
I loved it despite the cranky commentary from the peanut gallery.
Those two comments would cross-pollinate to create, like, the very wildly unpredictable, snarky, and supportive comment.
Do you smell that shit? Greetings from Argentina!
Some other genres I enjoyed were facts about nature.
If it echoes, it is deeper than 26.8 meters.
Schadenfreude.
That's what he gets for being a nature photographer.
And the extremely confusing auto-translation.
Всякий мусор – 100 проблема многих женщин.
Any garbage is a problem for many women.
But by far, my favorite genre were people's personal interpretations of the movie.
Addiction can be like this, always circling back to the same dark threat, not wanting to enter in, but it keeps calling to you no matter which direction you go.
Some of the interpretations were just short and funny, some were much longer and more in-depth, and some were just off-the-cuff ruminations.
Whatever we do in life and wherever we go, at the end of the road, we will all end up in the same place.
But regardless of the length or the content, it really meant a lot to me that anyone at all was willing to share their time and their mind with something I made. Whether that takes the form of writing an original creepypasta for the Tunnel, or beautifully deconstructing how the film story reflects witnessing a friend's declining mental health. Reading every single one was, like, truly a joy for me, even if you can't say the same for everyone else.
Seems like maybe the main character was going through some things, and maybe this tunnel was like an existential crisis that he couldn't get out of until someone else came along.
Or it's dog shit.
And for the final topic of this video, I want to talk about the one thing that, like, 75% of the comments are about. Just about everyone had something to say about it. And it's fitting it'll be the last thing we talk about, because I am, of course, referring to...
Jump scares are unimaginative and uninspired. The end scene ruined what could have been a satisfying short film.
Like so many horror shorts, brilliant until it's spoiled by the ridiculous ending.
It was okay until the ending scene. It went down tunnel at there. 2 out of 10.
The concept and build-up were absolutely brilliant.
Commonplace.
The ending was one of the worst I've ever seen.
The ending was very pedestrian.
Last 10 seconds have ruined the awesome movie.
Jump scare at the end made me laugh because it was so bad.
The ending it up. NGL. Stop watching in minute 7 and you have a great short.
Lame with a crappy
Continue
ending.
watching and you have a disaster.
Ending spiled it.
Who wrote the ending? Just fire them and it's all good.
This short movie director should learn from Nigerian movie director.
Nice try, but no. Poor ending! Kill the movie!
ending was not satisfactory.
That ending's... I better stick to high-budget movies. This indie stuff is a load of bollocks.
Pretty awesome until the last 5 seconds with a lame scare attempt.
Ending ruined the entire masterpiece.
Somehow get rid of the scare attempt. Uneventful. Like the tunnel, it went nowhere.
LOL. Stoopy end. LOL. Everything was well done, but that ending. Ouch.
Okay, look, I'm not going to stand here and defend the ending. Not because I don't want to, but because it doesn't matter. It's the ending we chose. It's the ending that's there. So if you liked it, great. If you didn't like it, also great. I just love that you watched my movie, and I still love you. But I do quickly just want to talk about it because I think there's some wisdom in the reasoning behind the ending that is important for anybody who is an artist or who wants to be an artist. When Spencer and I made this movie, we didn't anticipate showing it anywhere else besides the festival. It was something we made just to show our friends and family during a fun night of drinking. Like, yeah, we probably would have thrown it online, but never in our wildest dreams did we think it would get more than like 117 views. So when we were shooting this movie, we thought, hey, let's just throw a cool little jump scare in there at the end, throw some blood on your face, because why not? It'll be fun to make and people will like it. Obviously not all people.
Stupid, dumb ending.
Me no like it.
Kinda expected this to be about a spooky tunnel horse.
But a lot of other people will.
From my point of view as a film producer myself, an award-winning one, a seasoned script writer and naturally vibrant storyteller, I can say without mixing words or holding back anything that I have forgotten what exactly I want to write. But the film is damn cool.
The advice I'm trying to share, and it's trite advice I'm sure anyone who's an artist has heard, is you have to make stuff for you. If you worry too much about whether other people will think the choices you're making are the right choices or the wrong choices, you end up losing your mind because you're making it for them and you're not making it for you, and it's not fun anymore. It's just like work, and I don't want to do work. So what I'm trying to tell you is, if you're gonna make stuff, make it for you. You have to make it for you. It's not very original, but it's true. That's my final message here. No, wait, sorry. Actually, there was one more thing I wanted to say. See? It does work.